Hey y'all, check this out. It's another wonderful fall day. End of the season with the Buffs. I'm still going strong, stronger than ever. It's been a ride. It's been a journey. I appreciate the journey. I appreciate followers. I appreciate real followers, people who've been around from the beginning, who know how this channel goes, seeing the progress, the growth. I don't know what you can see on your end, but just from a guy starting something off to have a voice to express. He didn't do it for people. He didn't do it for people opinion. He didn't do it to please someone. He did it because he wanted to create a platform and speak to people who are experiencing the same thing he's experiencing. That's me. Greg said that's what Greg said. It's about Greg said it. Nobody else said it. I said it. Stand on it. Stand for the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Go read it, right? And I've never been a person who got into this thing for applause. I didn't know what applause was gonna come from. I get it. I didn't get into it for a subscriber because I didn't even know where a subscriber came from. It's a simple thing. I came in it to do what I wanted to do, as far as express myself in a community that is experiencing the same thing and actually care, like give a whatever about it. And that's what it's about. And then we also talking about football. You would assume, and when you're talking about football, you're talking with people who are interested in football, or at least interested in learning about football, and probably played it at some level. They played it, probably coach it. And some people are more passionate about football than others. I don't have to explain what I stand for, because I've done it in over 100 videos. But I've explained, you know, I'm a business person. That's why I respect Coach Prime. I'm more than a ball player. I actually played ball all the way up to college. 2 sports to be exact, baseball and football. I can talk about both. I've coached it. I've trained it. And I understand it on a high level regardless. I'm not just, some people play sports great and don't know nothing, can't teach nothing. I can do both. Because everything I learn at that level as a person. And I've always said I'm a fundamentalist at heart. I'm all about the fundamentals. I'm all about the details, especially when I'm coaching, to the point where that person who's really not about it can't be around me, because I want the best for the person. I want them to really get something. If I coach a person, I want them to really know the rules and not too deep, but for you to really understand your position. I've made that disclaimer. I made that foundation. That's what I stand for. And that's what I appreciate, to the point that I don't even watch sports like that. And I made that clear. It's clear Colorado provides a lot more than just sports. That's been made clear over and over and over and over again. That's why I watch it. There's a lot of good football out there I don't watch, don't care to watch, haven't cared to watch. But it's more to this platform than just football, which has been said 100 times. As for me, I've come into this thing, been a battleground for Coach Prime ever since JSU, on other people's platforms, even to jump on, and not necessarily combative with people on their platform, but people who just clearly, it's not about football for them. They're just a hater. I've talked about haters and buff haters from the beginning of my channel. And anybody who's intelligent know the difference between somebody who is critical, not in fairness, but they're just critical of you. The kind of person who will say one thing to another person about something, but won't say it to another because the rules don't apply. I've realized in life, and I didn't want to make my channel about that, because you don't know who you're dealing with. You may be calm in this area, but you're really not kin. And I understand I'm really not kin for a lot of people. That's why you try to keep it in where the interest is coming. But I'm a realist, and I'm a genuine person, because some people, they really don't value truth. They really don't value honesty. And that has a lot to do with sports. At the end of the day, that's like standards with Coach Prime, and some coaches, they call them hard coaches. They call them traditional coaches, old school, because they're all about the principles. I'm a principle person. I'm a principal from the standpoint of how I play the game, and I'm a principal about, the character of the person behind it. Some people just fake. Some people, they don't stand for truth. They stand for situations. It's only true in this situation, but not in that one. I don't respect a person like that. So the truth is the truth, regardless if I like you or not. Some people will give people a pass because they like this person and they will give somebody hell who they don't like, who ain't did half what the other person did. You see it in politics. You see it in just how people deal with people. I never been that person. You may be that person, but not me. So when I dealt with Coach Prime, I dealt with Coach Prime strictly on the respect I have for him as a person and what he stand for. I like what he stand for faith. A lot of people would follow him and claim to follow him and don't respect his faith. And I'm not saying you have to, but I do. So deep down, they really have a core with him that could be exposed. At the same time, I like him as a business person. I like what he's been doing for years, even during his career. But even after his career, you see the commercials. Every other commercials, like he has more commercials now than he did when he was playing. The man has branded himself so well that it actually, people hate on it, but actually is a big part of why he got the opportunities he had. If he wasn't Coach Prime, duh. And you see the results everywhere he's went. He's brought fans, he's brought ticket sales, he's brought expansion in a very short period of time because of the resources, the relationships, and just who he is as a person. That's what I respect about him. I respect him as an athlete who also played baseball and football at a fairly decent level, and a high level, not necessarily what he played in the major leagues, but it makes me respect him even more, what he was able to accomplish at the same time. Several other people did one at a time, and that's still commendable to go from football and go to major league or vice versa. But he did both at the same time. I don't think Bo Jackson even did both. He'd do half a season and then go to the other one. He did both at a high level, championship at both levels. And I always respected him. I grew up in the generation actually watching him. I'm from Atlanta, and I've watched him, and I've been to the stadium that he built. Not Mercedes-Benz, the Georgia Dome. See, I know people who played with him, things like that. Been around this my whole life. So I'm a true person who respects Coach Prime and Deion Sanders. I respect what he stands for as far as how he try to maintain some traditional mindsets in a modern day, which is hard with the new generation of kids, you know, because they have different morals, different values. So I appreciate all that good stuff. And anybody who attacked those parts of him just because you don't like him, I've stood for him way before a lot of people who claimed it with him have, before he got to Colorado and really just in life. But I've been with him. I'm not a super duper fan who follow everything, have a t-shirt, but him in these roles, I support him. I went to both Celebration Bowls at Jackson State, but I didn't have a platform to this year. And I could have did it early, but I decided I've been wanting to do it. I'm going to do it this year. But I've been going toe-to-toe for him personally, in face-to-face, not a call of internet, face-to-face and in the internet. And not too deep, because it ain't too deep. And the person who, you know, who can discern, can recognize the difference. It's still a sport at the end of the day. But sometimes people take it a little personal. And that's my only core. If you're gonna attack somebody, be fair about it, be real about it. Don't just say he's doing something because you don't like him. And don't not give him credit for what he's doing. He's done a great thing with the program. He's brought a lot of spotlight, and a lot of people have attacked him over how he's done it. That's how he's done it. And that's what he had to do. He had not a lot of money resources. He didn't have a lot of brand recognition at the school he was at. It's a struggling school. It's not like he went and took over a winning program. I've always respected and acknowledged that. He don't have to do everything the way I do it. That's what a lot of people, you know, on these platforms think you got to do it the way they do it. It's very childish. Because I understand people are different. They got different personalities, different backgrounds. Coach Prime do things different. I don't have to agree with everything he do. I don't have to agree with the celebrities. I don't even have to like the celebrities he bring, because I understand the heart of what he's doing. I understand the heart of what he's doing. And I can attack and judge him on a lot of different things, but that's not the point, because it ain't that deep. It could be, but it's not that deep for me. I enjoy the process. I enjoy seeing the development of it. But now we get to the place, y'all, where we have haters, right? And I fought for against haters from the very beginning, who didn't give him a shot just because they hated him. They said he wasn't going to win just because they hated him. And they hated on Colorado because of him. And then Colorado came on and got a jump. And all these so-called people jumped out of nowhere who act like they're the real fans. And some of them jumped out the bandwagon and some kind of around. And then you have some who just very offended and very defensive of Coach Prime on a whole nother level that's just as bad on the other side, because you're making it personal as well. You're like the other side of the coin of a hater, because you're not hating Coach Prime, but you're not realistic either. Nobody can say anything in the direction of Coach Prime without you're attacking. And you don't even see yourself. You attack people who point out anything wrong or anything that you don't like. You're very sensitive to it. And it's still a sport. And nobody's attacking nobody. Only haters do that. And what we've seen is a phenomenon that it makes the haters look right, because you have people who say the Colorado fan base is ignorant. They don't know football. They just emotional. And that's not the case for most Colorado fans or even Coach Prime fans. But there are some people who very well fit that. And it becomes an issue because people who are supporters of, I don't even use the word fan. I'm not a fanatic of nothing. But you get lumped into that category because you look the same. I'm going to say right now, I'm not. Because from a football standpoint, way beyond Coach Prime, way before Coach Prime, people who actually play football, what they do is they critique football. Regardless, who are you to say who can be critiqued and how to do it? And people do it a lot of different ways. Some people are vulgar. Some people are aggressive. I mean, but it's still football. Whether you know it or not, football is a competition. And it's aggressive. And it's a man's sport. And historically, women have not understood it, and they try to understand it. And when you bring certain perspectives and attitudes into it, you make it into something else. And we experience that a lot on YouTube. We experience it both male and female as people on the platform. I've heard some of the most genuine people get accused of being a hater as soon as they say something negative about Coach Prime, about not even about him, about the team performance and what's wrong, because it's still a football component. And they get frustrated and they say things, but they still support. But then you have people who attack these people. And I've seen it, all the way down to people like Neely. It's a very awkward place for Neely to be, because it's like he's still a journalist in a sense, but he runs close with Coach Prime. So I don't think he would be running close to Coach Prime and be a hater. So he gets both sides. He gets pulled saying that he's not genuine. On the other side, you got, he doesn't point out anything. It's like he can't be right. And it's weird. But that comes with, any platform. We see it in every industry. I've seen it in religion. I've seen some of the most genuine people in the religious space get attacked, not by the unreligious, but by the religious. And it's like, it's always them. And it's always a division. There's always a nitpicking of what they say and taking it out of context. People are interesting. And, when we look at, I don't know what next year looks like for Colorado, and I know a lot of things you can't change, but I have one suggestion. Everybody say they trust the process. Well, part of a process is growth. Part of the process is pruning and correction. Part of the process is making changes. And what we have the right to do and should be doing as supporters is, especially if you know what you're talking about, if you don't know nothing, you need to be quiet either way. But put it out there, because sometimes it does get back. I believe some stuff does get back. I think if enough people say it because, you are an extra set of eyes, and nobody is above listening in. It's not that the fans should run the coaches, never. But some stuff is what it is, and sometimes people be in denial. And one thing that you can't be in denial of is that, Colorado is struggling and losing for a reason. And there are some legit reasons. And it ain't attacking a particular person because you're jealous of them or hating on them. It is what it is. And it's going to be acknowledged one way or another. It's going to come up one way or another. If it come up at the end of the season, some coaches disappear, it's that. But what you're not going to do is make it like nobody can point it out. Players included. Because if you was any kind of real person, a real person always able to confront their loved one and their friend. Only fake people can't do that. And it's the same fake people who would stab them in the back and turn on them and throw them on the bus quicker than anybody. Real is real. Real is able to point out something wrong and still support somebody. And maybe people just not real enough. This is kind of like a motivational, inspirational message. If it's something I want to get off my chest, and it's the right time, because people have been going down this trail, and the I guess the lack of success and the losses uncovers a lot. It not only uncovers a lot in the team, it uncovers a lot in the fan base. It uncovers haters. It uncovers people who are shallow fans. It uncovers the problems that people have overlooked, and then it's okay, I see this. It uncovers a lot, but it also uncovers ignorance. It also uncovers people's personal issues and their lack of ability to judge properly, and their judgment on top of judgment. They judge a person for having a critique, but they really have the problem with judgment. And at the end of the day, you got to remember that it's sports. And sports fans, whatever you want to call them, that's what they do at any level. They do it on Little League. They complain. And that's what makes it hard to be a coach. People complain. And sometimes they complain to the coach, and sometimes they complain behind his back. But you know what comes with it. But it's just the only line is being disrespectful and undermining. You shouldn't undermine something you're supposed to. If you don't support it, let it go. If you don't like it that bad, let it go. But who are you to say that a person cannot point out problems, especially if they're consistent and pervasive? I see a lot of coaches experience that with parents and things, and it actually does roll over into the culture of sports, because now we see players cannot handle criticism. They cannot handle people raising their voice. Everything is offensive. You can be a non-cusser, encouraging person, and as soon as you say something that somebody don't like, they treat you like you the most cruel person. People get on this platform and say mean-spirited because you point something out, or you are, I guess, blunt about what you say. Football. Mean in football. Go figure. So do you play football nicely? You watching an aggressive sport, a competitive sport, and you're looking for Jolly Ranchers and sweet talk. You're in the wrong place. It's a way to be competitive and aggressive, even within competition, and hit each other on the field and hurt and talk bad to each other and shake hands. It's not a great mindset from a social standpoint, but it's part of a sports culture. That's what it is. I didn't make it that way. It's not necessarily bipolar, but it can be. It's not necessarily godly, but that's not the mountain it is. And if you really knew beyond what it is, you know it's different mountains, it's different platforms. They have different rules of engagement. And sometimes you go into those spaces and you have to know the difference. But that's the world that we are in. And that's what Colorado is against, guys. These years coming, I think we haven't seen nothing yet. I pointed out the referees. They seem like they very much in. I'm not paranoid. I know the difference. I watch their body language. I watch how unfair they are. You got referees against you. You got people against you. You got the media against you. They got a lot of things that Colorado, if they go get a great recruiting class, I see people decommitting, but I also see somebody commit, lose a star, they decommit, and they gain a star, or they gain their star back. It's a lot of stuff we haven't discussed. It's a lot of undercurrent things. And I stand against that kind of stuff. Don't get it twisted around here. Greg said it. When he said he mean it, I made it clear what I stand for. There's no hiding. There's no anything else. I just want to be very clear. Maybe I haven't made a clear video. Or maybe I haven't done it in a while. I say what I say. I mean what I say. You can make it what you want. That's a personal issue. It's a mirror, it's a reflection. I talk about it a lot on Sundays. Football is reflecting a lot of people's personal issues, and they reflect it, deflect it right back on other people. They may deflect it on the person on the camera. They may throw it back on the coaches. You may do the same thing with a whole different intent, but my issues is not yours. My intentions is not yours. That's your mirror. That's your lens you looking through. You got to deal with that. I know exactly what I stand for, what I did this for. And that is because I support what Coach Prime is doing. I know it's a process, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot of work to do. And with that, Go ahead and like, share, subscribe. You with it? If you're on that page, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to y'all soon.